Excellent.
Howdy. So, no ranting today, just all rave, but a hell of a lot to get into. A lot of rapid fire stuff here. Apparently you've all got a short attention span, so let's get down to it. Number one, with Stephen Merchant's The Outlaws, hence the hat, yeah. Obviously Banksy's connection with Bristol, my dubious connection with Bristol's second favourite graffiti artist. Big long debate about the evolution of graffiti, and then finally I'm going to really rave about some typographic graffiti that has moved well into my field, which is why I think I'm going to really rave about graffiti today. And that's that. Are we going to get that done in 5 minutes?
Really, don't worry about it. No one's watching. Just let's go again.
Harsh. Anyway, so The Outlaws. No, not that one. No, not that one either. Yes. Has the media gone on about Stephen Merchant finally not writing with Gervais? Have they centred on him managing to land Christopher Walken? No. What they have gone on about is the said Mr. Walken painting over an original Banksy piece of graffiti on the set. Well, they've asked Mr. Merchant. He says it's all true. He said he rang up Banksy, because that's, anyone can do that. It's really easy to ring up Banksy. There's a big signature above the rat, just to give us a clue. Having looked into other signatures, there's the well-known sort of mile west bit of typography. Might not be a signature, it's more like his word mark. And there's some other signatures around that you can pick up. None of them resemble graffiti that was on the Outlaw set. Anyway, in the main backdrop, big graffiti where all the actors are behind, there's a little spray can that tells me that there's another artist involved in there, which is a guy called Chio, who I have actually called up. And the reason I'm going to mention him is that I worked with Chio, with these guys here on Gloucester Road, Chow Burger. There's James, the owner of Chow Burger, proud of the Chio commissioned bit of graffiti. And the reason I want to point this out is we've got a very commercial end of graffiti where I can actually ring up and commission Chio to produce some artwork for a client of mine, because it's bang on brand with the audience we're trying to connect with. And that got me thinking about the whole evolution of graffiti, that we have been daubing our art on walls since the dawn of time. We can go back as far as ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, we can go through all the ages. We have put our mark around where we live. So you might remember, I don't know what it's called, Girl and the Heart-Shaped Balloon. It was on a wall somewhere. It then got converted into a piece of art. It then got sold at Sotheby's for $1 million, I think. And the second the auctioneer hit the gavel on the sound block, this happened. Shock horror, much laughter as well. Fast forward some months, years, the same not quite shredded piece has now been sold for $25 million. So what happened between this, which is deemed a precious historical artifact, and this, which is deemed some crap tagging? Well, I think the answer is people now own property. No one owned this wall, but someone owns this wall. And again, you may be familiar with the story. So Banksy now vandalises this wall, and the vandalism is now worth £400,000. So it does seem that art and vandalism occupies the same space at the same time. You just can't have one without the other. They practice and they get better. The stuff that's been selling for 25 million, at what point was it vandalism? It's up to you. And so now vandalising your building is now an acceptable commercial use of that art form. And so now I'm going to get on to that, because as a graphic designer, a trained graphic designer, I really enjoy all types of design, but typography in particular. So the tagging side of all this graffiti, is it vandalism or is it typography? It's incredibly hard to read. Sometimes some typefaces are difficult to read, and that's part of the aesthetic. That's part of why people choose it. The extra ravey bit here is I want to introduce you to two graffiti artists, stroke vandals, who practice their art on walls, but also in the digital domain. So one guy, I'm not going to say it right, but it's he tags himself as Benny Z. Most graffiti artists like putting their name everywhere. He's stylized it in a certain way. As you've seen, most graffiti artists stylize their names. This guy has taken it even further, and as you can see, there's loads of different alphabets. For me, as a graphic designer, that is very useful and is very much in my realm, which I can then use in a commercial way and create other designs, posters, brochures and stuff with these kind of typefaces. And another artist I particularly admire is Gary Stranger. Again, loves putting his name everywhere, but also, in my opinion, has really pushed typographic design. If you look at these examples, sometimes again hard to read, and this is what's good about design. It grabs you, it pulls you in. You've got to work it out. You can then utilize it, take those ideas, get inspired by it. Graffiti, it started off with cave paintings, it's demonized as vandalism, but with any kind of art form, any kind of evolution, you have to let things progress to get the beauty of creativity, in my opinion. So do a deep dive in Instagram, type in graffiti in the search bar and just find stuff. It's wonderful. And all I can say in conclusion is try and see the beauty in everything around you, everything you see. At least try and see that before you dismiss it, if you can. Anyway, I'll see you next week.
Superb.